Greetings, and thank you for tuning in to episode 49 of Clash of Clans Attacks. Sorry if I seem to be losing track of the numbers here, I just get confused sometimes.
Brain damage.
As promised, this episode comes at the end of our most recent clan war with Detroit Death. I believe there's about an hour or two left. And we are ahead by about 17 stars, so as long as nothing crazy happens, we should finish this one with a win as well. So we will start out this episode with an attack replay of my own. What episode would be complete without at least one Gala fail?
Hashtag Gala fail. Trend it.
Right, so here I am attacking Princess Peach from Detroit Death, and she's got a very unusual base design here. It's a little bit of white flag and a little bit of southern teaser. And when I started here, I had an ugly surprise waiting for me, and that was 2 Teslas. And unfortunately, I think I should have deployed all 4 of my hogs at once, but by doing what I did, I lost the hogs and couldn't even take out a single Tesla. But I just figured with a number of barbarians and witches that I'm bringing, I should be able to stay ahead of the destruction from that Tesla and take out the heroes, and that is indeed what happens here. But problem number 1, and that is the leftover troops from that royal lure don't really help me out with my main prong of the attack here, which is coming along the northeast wall. Now the idea here was to try to clear all of these surrounding structures along the northeast side of this base in hopes that the next closest structure would be that right Inferno Tower, which would lead me to the town hall. Unfortunately, I guess I had a little performance anxiety here and I suffered from premature deployment. I put the king and queen down, and as you can see here, once that wizard tower goes away, they're headed to their right. They're going to go after the crossbow and all the way around the outside of the base, never so much as threatening the town hall. So much to her credit, Princess Peach here with a good base design thwarts my advances and keeps me at only 1 star. And looking at the war log, there have been 4 more attempts on her base since my attack, none of which have achieved a 2-star victory. Alright, next we've got a successful defense here from the Destroyer of Lost Phoenix. And right away we see a violation of Bunched Golems, followed by a violation of Raged Golems, followed immediately by an ineffective deployment of Wall Breakers that all die without getting through a single wall. And this is beginning to look like a spray and pray attack as all the troops are being deployed in the same spot. Surely he won't do that with the wizards. Well, here are the wizards, and they're destroying stuff. Well, they should be okay as they work their way around, as long as they don't run into a big... Oh, yeah, one of those. And as the clan castle troops come out, there's not a whole lot left for them to defend against. The king and the queen and 1 lowly wizard, and this attack is over just as quickly as it started. Moving along, we have an attack replay from the big boss of Lost Phoenix, none other than Spencer, $23.
Galadon.
And keeping up with the unusual base designs here, this is another pretty unusual layout. Actually, the simplicity of the walls here do make it a little bit easier to get your wall breakers through, as we'll see in a moment. Spencer is going to go ahead and attack with the traditional LRC style here, clearing the left and the right first, and then making a final assault right down the middle. Now here Spencer is still working on pulling the royals over here to lure them, and he's using a slightly different strategy. The golem is going to draw fire rather than a big bunch of barbarians, and then he's followed up with the witches and a bunch of wizards. And very quickly and effectively, the king and the queen are down, while simultaneously he's been working on those outer edges. He's going to send in some wall breakers here down the middle. They get through that first wall. Now this next set of wall breakers comes just before this rage spell. Doesn't quite help them out in time. They go down. But he hasn't given up hope yet. He's got a couple of wall breakers left. He's going to send them in here in a moment, and just 2 will be plenty to get through that wall with the rage spell. They do. Here comes the king and the queen. They're headed right for the center. Perfectly placed free spell gets 2 expos and an inferno. All of the units head inside the wall except for the queen. She's the only one dumb enough to stand outside a wall and shoot at stuff. Now she does eventually come onto the inside, and we've got a whole bunch of skeletons and wizards and witches there. Just too many units for those defenses to stop. They managed to take out the Expo and the Inferno there. The Queen has gone to work on the Town Hall. Still quite a few units there. This is actually going to be pretty close. And as 50% comes with the surrounding structures, the queen goes down before the town hall does, and the last couple of surviving witches and their skeletons save the day and get the second star. So a relatively close battle, but it does result in 2 additional stars for our clan war versus Detroit Death. Next, we'll take a look at a replay of a successful defense by Dave of Lost Phoenix. And it begins here with a pretty standard royal lure, although a lot of wall breakers were used to get these royals over to the side here. And they are taken out, and the main prong of the attack starts, which includes a P.E.K.K.A. Right away we see a bunch of wizards go down, and then inexplicably the king and the queen come down ahead of the rest of the wall breakers. The surrounding structures aren't down, so the queen of course is going to wander. The wall breakers get through some of those walls, but most of the units are way past them by this point. And then here we see the King's Rage, and yes, I think that is another rage spell on top of the King's Rage, so as current Lost Phoenix members know, those two don't stack, but people who leave the clan might not know that. So the queen is off by herself to the bottom there at the south, the king is up to the northwest, he's back to the outside, nowhere near the town hall. At this point, all the attacker can hope for is to try to get 50%, but as time runs out, it just doesn't quite happen, and he's left with a loss. Alright, coming up in this next attack, we have what I like to call when nothing goes right, go left. Here, Metador shows how important it is to stay cool and patient even when things go wrong. Here he begins with his first wall breakers being flipped right off the map. But up north he quickly learns that he's facing an entire field of Teslas once he starts placing units up here. He's again trying to use his barbarians to distract so that he can get those wall breakers to the wall, which again doesn't work. He's got all 4 Teslas up here in this same corner. But he doesn't panic. He's going to maintain his same attack strategy that he set out with, trying to break open those enclosures and lure the royals up to the far north. Another wall breaker doesn't make it to the wall, and now he's going to go ahead and bring the king and the queen up here and try to take them out, despite the fact that he's got Teslas firing on his lure units constantly. Now he is able to place the witches far enough north that they have time to generate skeletons, but then a big bomb goes and takes out his units as they start to move south. So he drops down a golem as his units are continuing to battle the king and the queen there. Eventually they will get the upper hand and take out the queen. And now as they move south, they take out those first 2 Teslas. But if you take a look at the map and see those gaps south of the camps, and the fact that this defender has placed all 4 Teslas here, yep, you know what to expect. More big bombs, and several wizards lose their lives. So by this point, a lot of Metador's support wizards are down. He still hasn't gotten through that enclosure there. He's finally going to break through it, but he's no doubt used way more wall breakers than he had hoped to get to the point where he is now. He drops a few more, and he's trying to clear that path towards that town hall wall, and finally lays down the king and the queen when most of the structures are down. And here comes his very last wall breakers, and they just are going to manage to get through that inside wall and break it wide open. Now the king and the queen can move in there, but the clan castle troops are closing down on them. But he does have a rage spell there. He activates the queen's special ability, and for a few seconds here it's hard to tell who's going to come out on top. But then the king and the queen, level 40, manage to clear through and get to the town hall. And again, it's spell timing and placement that saves Metador there. Goes from what could have been a disaster to a 2-star victory. And as this episode comes to a close, so does our clan war with Detroit Death. With no time remaining, Glitter Pony is attacking Look Trick, but we have a 6-star lead, pretty much insurmountable at this point. No other Detroit Death players were still attacking. So as we take a look at clan chat while we're waiting for that to wrap up, eventually Glitter Pony does complete the attack, the war ends, and Lost Phoenix is victorious. Close call, 82 to 76. I only hope we can put up as valiant of an effort when we face our very next clan war opponent. That's right, Quantum's Web. Stay tuned. Thanks again for watching and subscribing. Just on a quick note, wanted to follow up on our cheating video regarding the clan Persian Gulf. Had an interesting Facebook message from a person claiming to be a member of the clan Persian Gulf, who said that their cheating was justified because we were such a higher ranking clan. I liked Spencer's response in clan chat, which was he plans on entering a 100-yard dash competition against Usain Bolt, but Spencer is bringing a motorcycle. Question 3 of 3 is, what is Lost Phoenix's current clan war record, and what are the names of the clans we have lost to? The first person to answer all 3 questions correctly in the comments below will receive 1,200 gems in the form of an iTunes gift card. Members of the clan Lost Phoenix are not eligible, but members of our feeders are.